Hello, and welcome to the Venue Coach Blueprint for Owners. I'm Kyle Labar. This podcast is all about helping you fill your wedding venue with more bookings, earn more from each one, and keep your customers happy for a long time. We'll also talk about some tough times and big lessons that I've learned along the way. Let's dive in together and make your venue the best spot for weddings. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Venue Coach. Today I wanted to just share a couple of horror stories from around the block of different venues that have done some things that I have been unimpressed with. So these aren't, I can't even remember the specific names, but it's just come up as tours, listening to tours, doing tours, and going to weddings. And so the point of it is not to say anything about the specific venue itself, but rather the practices that they're employing and that I think that they shouldn't be employing. And so the first one was actually a tour that I was running with while training one of the managers. And the couple came in and they had mentioned, we exchanged pleasantries, we just started talking about them, asking them about themselves, and then they said, topic came up of how many venues that they were looking at, or had they seen any before, something along those lines. And so the bride to be, she said, "Oh, we just came from this other venue, and when we went to do the venue, or correction, went to do the tour, no one was there." And so the owners, the managers, whoever was supposed to be running this tour wasn't there. And oddly enough, her friend was actually getting married there on that day, was getting ready, whatever. And so somebody was there, but it was her friend who was getting married. And so this particular individual, she came in and the friend said, well, we're the only ones here, but you're welcome to walk around and take a look at things. So she gave herself her own tour of this place. And then she came over to us and I said, geez, well, I don't like talking bad about specific vendors or venues, and and didn't know anything about them at the time. But I just said, well, if that's how they're going to treat you on a tour, imagine how they're going to treat you through the day of your actual event. Like, it's just blew my mind that they would actually do that. And so she had called and texted and everything, like trying to figure out where they were. And so that's the one. And really the lesson there is be there for your own tours. How are you going to get sales if you don't even show up? Like, you can't even bother to show up for a sale. It's just incredible. So the next one is I was at a wedding, and I was just there, just observing. And the party's going great, everybody's having a good time. It's time to start cleaning up, and the cleanup just kept going, and I thought, man, what is happening? And they were stacking tables, stacking chairs. The bride was stacking chairs and tables. Like, this venue made them stack their own stuff and like clean everything up, sweep the floors. I'm surprised they didn't have a mop out as well. It was that intensive. And so it just reinforced to me, don't lose sight of the big day, right? We do dozens, if not hundreds, of venues or weddings a year, but in our community, right? Hundreds of weddings and events a year. It's easy to lose sight of the one day. And that's my big thing. You've probably heard me say this before. We can't lose sight of the individuals who we're serving. And that was a clear sign to me that they had lost sight of who they were serving. And so it was well, we don't want to clean up, and so you have to if you want to use our space. But the very point of your venue is like you're gonna have cleanup. It's you had and they had staff there. It wasn't like it was the owner by themselves trying, whatever. They had staff. It was a well-established venue. It was, you know, they could they could have had some cleaning staff. And so it was just really unimpressive to me. And I don't think that in today's world, like clearly they're still getting sales, but we got to raise the bar. We got to be better than that. It's just, why is a bride stacking chairs on her wedding day? That shouldn't be what she has to do at all. And so if you're one of those venues that are doing those two examples, if you're not showing up for your tours or you're making your couples stack tables and chairs, I challenge you to be better. Be better than that, because these couples deserve it. It's their one big day, one of the biggest days of their life, and we can make it truly amazing. And it's little things like that. Like, those don't seem like very big things, but what else are you doing? Evaluate. I challenge everybody to evaluate what you're doing, the little things that don't cost you much or any extra time or effort that you could just make better. If you had to get all of your sales, you could only get one sale, and you had no marketing budget, and you couldn't do anything else but serve the client and then let them refer you. What would you do differently in your business to make it that much better? So I'll leave you with that thought and that framework to think about, and I want to hear what you guys think. So let me know what sorts of things that if you've heard of any horror stories, if you're one of the culprits, and how you're going to improve. I really want to hear that. But think about that. How could you service your clients to give such an incredible experience that they would refer you, and that's how you would get your business? And with that, I'll leave you to think, and leave a like if you found this insightful or helpful, and drop a comment and share if you want. I don't care. This is for you regardless of any of that. But anyways, until next time, bye.